Hey there, you guys. So it's going to be a little bit of a slower video today. It's Friday, just been out for a nice long walk around the woods with my wife and my 6 dogs. I had lots of fresh air. I'm pretty chilled. I played one game this morning of 15 plus 10 rapid and I screwed it up. My opponent was rated over 1500, so decent player. And so what we're going to do first, just look at the game review summary, okay? So my opponent got 81 accuracy, I got 65. So the game was actually 28 moves, and in that I had 10 best moves, 3 excellence and 4 books, okay? So more than 50%, so that's like 65% of the time, roughly, around 2/3 of the time, I found the best move. And my opponent, 4 times out of 5, kind of found the best move. And that's not what decided the game. What decided the game was the missed win, the blunder, the mistake, right? And he also made a blunder and a mistake here. And that's the difference. Okay, so it's the difference between being a 1000 and 1100 or 1100 and 1200 or whatever. It's how bad the moves are where you don't find the best moves, if you know what I mean. So how many blunders do you make? How many mistakes do you make? And why do you do them? And I think discovering why you miss the best moves, why you make poor moves when there's a much better move, that's the key. That's the key to how we improve. And this game, I think, was really indicative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the game, and you can see here that at one point I had an advantage, nearly +2, okay, and then I blundered and buggered it up. And my opponent was in the ascendancy, very, very strong. Actually had forced mates here, forced mate, screwed it up, yeah? But then I also screwed up and missed it, okay? So that's my missed win. So let's go through the game, because I think this is going to be really, really instructive. So, we'll start off, and I'll also show the timings here as well, because I think that's very, very important, okay? So we have I've got the black pieces, we have a Scandinavian takes, modern Scandinavian, knight f6. Knight comes out, knight takes, queen takes, so far so good. Okay, move 4, everything's pretty normal. My opponent is a little bit behind in development because I've got a queen out on the board and there's no knight that can come out to c3 and annoy my queen. So we have knight out to f3, and now I play e5. Striking for the centre. Might challenge this if he wants to play d4, right? Might also push e4 and with tempo kick the knight away. So my opponent here does play d4. Now, I have 2 attackers on that pawn. He has 2 defenders. I have a check, okay? So there's no advantage to me to capture that pawn because he'll just recapture and nothing much gained, okay? So, we're in the opening of the game. What do you want to do? You want to develop. What else do I want to do? I want to pressure this pawn. Okay, so knight c6, very, very obvious move. Another thing with the Scandinavian as well, if you go down this route, if you have no d pawn, castling long makes a lot of sense because you put the rook straight on d8, semi-open file. Okay, now white plays c4. Okay, so we're taking this very calmly, right? So my queen's under threat, I think, for 22 seconds on this move, okay? My queen's under threat, and I figure I've actually got a couple of checks here. Always look for checks. Checks should always be on our mental checklist, okay? Why? Because they're very, very forcing. Your opponent must get out of check. There's no other option, okay? So I actually have queen a5 here, but queen a5 would almost certainly be met, I'm thinking, with bishop d2, and then I'm the one with the tempo issue. Okay, and I also have this, queen e4. So if queen e4, and this is the key, this is really the key to my first mistake in this game, is thinking, well, what's my opponent's best move? Okay. If I do this, what's my opponent going to do? Now, when you see Magnus or Jan Nepo sitting there for 20 minutes at the chessboard, what do you think is going through their head? They're going through, if I do this, what is my opponent going to do? What's his best move? And if he makes that move, what am I going to do? And they're mapping it out. They're calculating several moves deep. A lot of the time, we don't even consider what is my opponent's best move on their first response, never mind their fourth or fifth or whatever. Okay. So let's think it through. Queen here. Yeah, he can block with the bishop. Okay. He could block with this bishop. But whatever he does, or he could put the queen there as well. That's fine as well. I figured it was good. I didn't see any major problems, so I stuck my queen on e4. I now have 3 attackers on this pawn. Yeah? And my opponent's in check. So what's my opponent going to do? He can't play this, I don't think, because then pawn takes pawn, knight takes, don't know, maybe, might be possible. So he blocks with the bishop on e3. And now I simply have an overwhelm. I've got 3 attackers, only 2 defenders. So I decide to come in with a knight and capture that. So, for example, I'm threatening to take that. If queen recaptures, I've got queen takes queen, king takes. That might not be too bad for white, actually, because with the queens off the board, king centralized, rooks close to connected, maybe that's okay. But I've also got knight takes f3. And if pawn takes, because bishop can't take, bishop's pinned, pawn takes, he's got doubled isolated pawns there, and he's got an isolated h-pawn as well. So, my opponent now captures the knight. And this next move, I make in 9.8 seconds, okay? Now, this is a 15 plus 10. I've got 15 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. There is no excuse for my next move. Not if I'm aspiring to be a 1500, 1600 player, yeah? So, I've just gone down a piece. I have pawn takes for free. Okay, now I saw another move that looked tempting and brightly coloured and sugary coated, right? And I thought, that looks good, why don't I do that? Right, queen takes g2. Now, your first thought might be, decent move, Hunty. That looks perfectly good to me, right? His rook's under attack. Rook's under attack, so his rook's going to have to move, right? Can't go there because queen takes with check. Rook's going to have to go there, right? And then I just grab the knight. But there's a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that Numbskull over here didn't take time to think, if I do that, okay, if I do this move, what does my opponent have? I immediately went to, I'm attacking this rook, therefore his rook has to move. Okay? And then I stopped thinking. That was my problem, right? Got to a certain point, I thought, and here's the other thing. Here's the other really, really important thing. I was thinking there, I'm doing quite well here. I'm quite liking my position here, right? And that is poison. That is poison to the chess brain, right? That is toxic thinking, okay? So I take this, what does my opponent do? Bishop f3, not exactly a grandmaster move, do you know what I mean? It's defended by the queen, right? It's attacking my queen, it's X-ray defending that, and what's more, I'm now the one looking like a twat because I've now got to move my queen somewhere safe, right? And this knight gets to escape. And I've missed my chance of, yeah, I'm 2 pawns up, but hey ho. So I retreat my queen and the knight runs away. What's more, the knight jumps to here with a threat against c7 and the old famous that, right? So I've gone from a point there. I knew I'd gone from a point where I was doing really well. I thought I was doing well. Okay, move 9. And I rushed, I snatched. I just went, like a baby. You know, do you want a marshmallow? Marshmallow. Shove it straight in my mouth. That's what I did. That was the mentality of that move I just made. And then, just like that, I've lost control of the game. Why? Laziness. Okay. So I have to move my queen to here now to defend this. Right. Can't go there because of that bishop. Can't go there because of the knight. So out of the 3 squares where I could defend, that was it. And my king can't defend. The only other move would have been bishop here, but then he's got knight takes, maybe pawn takes. Yeah, you know. I thought queen here looked all right. At least, I'm looking at this, and I've still got both bishops, so I might bring the bishop out and, attack there. We shall see. So now he brings his bishop out, and suddenly I'm looking stupid, right? So I move my queen to here with check. Bishop comes back. Block with my bishop. Okay, queen is still defending this, and I'm feeling now like okay, so right, he's got a knight, I don't, but I've got 7 pawns, and look at his pawns. They're not brilliant, are they? Yeah? So his issue is king safety. Right? My issue is I've got 1 piece less than him, but he's only 1 point up in material. So he now blocks with the knight. I was quite glad about that. My worry was, I think he had a better move there. Yeah, I think my worry was this. Knight takes the pawn with check, and then queen would have to capture, and then he would have captured my bishop. Okay? And it's a wide open board. It's a bishopy board. I want to keep the bishop pair as long as I can. Okay? So, but I think this was maybe weaker. We shall see. Knight c3. I bring out my other bishop looking at a spare pawn. Okay. Now, still at this point, I'm not feeling too bad. I've got my bishops out in the board. Yes, my queen's out in the board. But look at kingy. Kingy's got an option of castling either way. And this one puts a rook on a completely open file. Right. This one's not too bad. And look at laughing boy over here. He's in real trouble, okay? So this is what you call a sharp position, right? Where both sides have attacking opportunities, and it really comes down to time, tempo. Who manages to get the first killer blow in, right? And we shall see, and it's white. Okay, so I bring out my bishop, attack the pawn. He hits my bishop. Okay, so I have to retreat to there. And as soon as I played that, how long did I spend? 23 seconds. I've got 13 minutes. I've got 13 bloody minutes on the board. Right? Now, if I move my bishop here, what's my opponent's best move? Well, let's see, shall we? Oh dear. b4. Okay, so, yes, I can go takes, and I've lost another piece for 2 pawns. And this pawn's still hanging. More importantly, my opponent's king is wide open. So, I decide to sack my bishop and capture on f2. Forces king to move. King moves. Okay. Queen there with check. Okay. So I've still got ideas. This bishop can be pinned quite easily. This pawn is hanging. I've got a queen and a bishop looking down towards the king. Maybe there's some scope. Bishop there blocks. Damn it. Okay. So I have to come back here. Now the knight comes in again, right? Another knight looking at this with a family fork on queen and king and rook and bishop, right? So I take out the pawn. That was a decent move because it comes with a defense of c7. Okay, so I'm congratulating myself over that. Now the rook attacks, and I'm in real trouble, okay? So I had 2 checks. I had a check here, and I have a check here, looking at the king. So I do this, king just moves across to e2, right? So yeah, my queen's out of trouble, but how am I going to stop this now? Without castling. So I castle. Now I'm thinking, now it's not too bad, look. I've got the knight pinned on the queen, attacked twice, defended twice. I might still have a chance in this game. Rook takes c7. Okay, it's defended by the knight. King can't take. I must move. There's no other option. Bishop takes a7. Okay, and I'm thinking now, I'm wondering if my opponent has is getting a bit desperate, because he knows his king is out in the open, very vulnerable. You know, I do have some activity here. I've castled my king. Right? Is he getting desperate? Anyway, I have to snatch the bishop off. Now he comes in with check. Okay, king moves here. Right, what does he have? Okay, and it's all about checks, and this is the thing about tempo. Super sharp position. You know, what I want to do is I want to get my queen in somehow with check. I can't do it right now, but something like this would be great. Push the pawn up, you know, engage my rooks. If I have the opportunity, I think I might be able to force a mate. Now, rook takes b7, so he's sacrificing his rook, okay? Now, I've only got two legal moves. Take the rook or king c8. Yeah, gotta take the rook, okay? And now, can you see knight to here? So, knight to there, discovered check by the bishop, right? But he's offering me a third piece, okay? So that could be, or fourth piece actually, that my king can take in consecutive moves. But, so I think there for 40 seconds. I've still got 12.5 minutes on the clock, and this was my second mistake. In fact, this is a missed win. So let's stop right now. Let's go back to this move. Okay, he's just put his knight here. Yes, he's offering me material. Okay, in fact, we'll see the last couple of moves. Okay, because here, and this is completely, I'm now lost. I am dead ass lost. I'm a rook up in the game, right? And given the opportunity, I'll come here. Rook comes in. Bishop comes flying in. Other rook. You know, this guy's wide open, but it doesn't matter because I don't get to throw a punch at all because I go boom, boom, and I'm on the canvas, right? I take the knight, queen there, and I can't go there, can't go there, there. There's only one move. Boom, bada boom. Checkmate. He wins. Well played, mate. And I'm left to lick my wounds. Now, here, find the winning move for black. You can pause the video if you want to. Right? Now, I only saw this in the analysis, right? In the game itself, I was only looking here. Right? I was looking in this corner of the board. I thought, oh no, I'm in check. Oh look, a knight, you know? And I just didn't think, okay, if I take the knight, what's my opponent's best move? I've got 13 minutes. 13 minutes. And out of those 13 minutes, I chose to use 40.8 seconds. It's just laziness. There's nothing else for it. It's laziness. He knew that he could put his knight there, and if I take it, he calculated in 30 seconds that he's got a win. And he did. Right, what is the best move? The best move on the board for black is this. E4 with the pawn, completely shut down the bishop. Right, I'm attacking the bishop. The queen could throw a check, doesn't matter, I'll just take the knight. Then my rooks get in the game, and my queen goes on a merry king hunt, and I win. Okay? Now, in the game, I didn't even think about that move. And there's no excuse for that. Right? I'm not going to be a solid 1500 player if I don't consider all the possible candidate moves. And it's not like I'm in time trouble. There's, like I say, it's inexcusable. Totally inexcusable. And that move, this pawn move here, perfectly good move, right? But I just snatched, I grabbed at it like a little baby. You know? Terrible. Terrible stuff. Okay, so we'll quickly have a look at the game review. And you can see these 2 points, right? And this is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? I played 2/3, 2 out of 3 of my moves were perfect. They were perfect moves, right? And this is the difference between a 1500 player and a Grandmaster. You know? But it's knowing that it doesn't matter if you play 1, 2 complete dickhead moves there. And he made a dickhead move, right? That knight move, I think, was wrong. And we'll see why, okay? Because he had mate in 3, and he screwed it up. And then suddenly, black is totally winning. And then I screwed it up as well, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get. That's the point of this lesson, okay? Is it's not about finding the best move 2 out of 3 times. It's about how stupid the other moves are, okay? And when you watch Carlsen and Nupo at the Worlds, you know, we've seen 1 blunder in 9 games or something like that, I think, yeah? It happens, but it's very, very, very rare. Okay, so here we go. So, book, best. Okay, and now, at this point, black is 1/100th of a point in front. Okay, so absolutely dead level, and it's me to play. E5 is the best move. D4 is the best move. Knight C6 is the best move. Yeah, hey, like I'm going, I've got a slight advantage. I'm good at this. And every time I do this, I have one movie scene in my head that always the reel just like loads up. Yeah. Star Wars: A New Hope. Luke and Han escaping the Death Star, and they get in a dogfight with the TIE fighters, and Luke goes, pew, 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 pew. I got one. And Han turns round, looks down the tunnel thing, says, great kid, don't get cocky. Right? And it's every time I say to myself, I'm like, great kid, don't get cocky, you know? And I got cocky. Okay? Ooh, that's a mistake. Okay, so what should white have done here? Perfectly good, yeah, right? But he's failed to protect an undefended piece. What has he? Okay, so best move. Okay, and now, yeah, because I guess with that move, it's under defended, really, right? 3 attackers, 2 defenders, like we said. Queen e4 is best. Well, hey, bishop e2 is best. Brilliant. Yeah? Knight takes d4 is best. I'm like, I'm going to win. Don't ever think. The minute you look at your current rating and look at, ooh, how many moves, how many points am I playing for here, and start adding up, ooh, yes, I could get back up to 1500. You know what I mean? That is the death sentence. Honestly. So I've played perfect chess, right? Laughing boy captures the knight, and right? And how many seconds was it? 9 seconds I thought about that. So suddenly my 8 perfect moves that had got me into a great position, and then I'm starting to think, ooh, look at me, aren't I good? You know? It's like, the game's already won. No. Punked. Great move. He says it's the only good move, but he found it, he took the time, and then, you know, for the rest of the game. So now we go, okay, look, I'm finding good moves. That's not great. What should I have done? Oh, just moved back. Okay, yeah. And in fact, at that point, I should... you know, if I'd have been sensible, I would have actually maybe tempted him to get a draw by repetition. I'd have lost 0 points if I do a draw by repetition. Right? Didn't do it. Okay? So now, okay, inaccuracy. Drops the knight back. I agreed. He should have done, I think, knight takes c7 check. Best move? Knight takes c7 check. Yeah, exactly. Right? So he didn't play brilliant, But on the moves that mattered, he took my pants down and spanked me rotten. Spanked me raw. Okay? So this is not great. Okay, so he does that. I do this excellent move. Okay? But it doesn't matter. If you bugger up on those like quickie moves, those little throwaway moves, you put yourself in a stupid ass position for the rest of the game. And even if you dig out excellent moves, best moves and stuff like that, it doesn't matter, right? Best move, hooray. Inaccuracy, obviously, because we saw that. Best move was, okay, I'm still 4.4 behind, even there. Okay, but I do that, he does that. Excellent move, yeah. It's like, well, these excellent moves don't matter a toss, okay? What should I have done here? Okay, drop back to there. Yeah, because here with check, this is the thing again. Look, here with check, what's my opponent going to do? Well, I'm forcing him to do this, which is the next move, right? But if I'd have put my queen here, oh look, I've got 2 attackers on this undefended pawn, right? I just went for the cheapo check. Pointless. Like a little baby. You're like a baby. It's Avatar, isn't it? Anyway, so then I move to that square. Then knight comes in. Inaccuracy. Gives away free material. Of course it does. Okay? Best move. Look at me. I'm finding the best moves. Look at me. I'm about to lose. Right? That's excellent. Best move again. Woohoo! Okay? But this is the point. Don't rush. And I see this in beginner games so often that people play, you know, if I play somebody lower rated, they rush their first moves and then and then you see their time bar suddenly starting to go really long in the middle game. Now, some people know their theory, and you can do that if you know your theory. Like a lot of, you know, Vienna openings or Scandinavian openings now, I will blitz out my first few moves because I know what the best move is. I remembered it, right? And you know, we see the same at the World Championships. They make their moves in like 30 seconds or whatever, or less. But when you don't know your theory, you really need to take your time because it's about not making a mistake. It's not about, and then they end up having to find the best moves. But every day's a lesson. Okay, that's a mistake. Why? Mate in 7. What should I have done? Went the wrong way, didn't I? I just saw the idea of putting my rook on here and threatening the knight. Yeah? But again, I didn't think, well, what can my opponent do? And this is what my opponent can do. Takes my stupid pawn right in front of my king. I didn't even think about that. I was only thinking about this. I was only thinking about the D file. The C file escaped my attention because I'm a moron. Okay, now that's forced, obviously. Mate in 5 now, it's ticking down. Takes. Good, you take back. Okay, best, mate in 4. King here. Brilliant move. That was a truly amazing move. Yep. I mean, sacrificing a rook. Okay, that's the best move. Blunder. Right? He had mate in 3. Okay? He blundered. I didn't notice that he'd blundered. All I'm thinking about is, cool, can I somehow get away with this? I'm in check. Okay, it's a free knight. What can go wrong? Boom. Now we're in mate in 2. Check, mate. Okay, now, this is a blunder because I had this. Okay? What should he have done? Check. Right? And let's see the line. And mate. Okay? There you go. So he didn't play the perfect game. What was the biggest difference was that I was the one that made the last mistake. Okay? He made the second to last mistake. Here he's got mate in 3. This is the second to last mistake made. Complete blunder, actually losing, but knobhead here didn't notice, right? I do that. This is the last mistake. There's no more mistakes made because it's all over, okay? So can you see what I'm trying to get across here? You know, with every move, at the very least, you must ask yourself the question, if I do that, what is my opponent's best response? That is the minimum. That is the minimum for 1400, 1500, 1600. Okay, beyond that, you're going to have to go 2 moves. Okay, well, if my opponent does that, is that good for me? What do I then have? This, that, and the other. Okay? Yeah. So, you know, that was quite a painful lesson. But the pain goes away. The important thing is, did you learn the bloody lesson? And hopefully, I've learned it. Okay, and hopefully, I've been able to help you as well. So, there you go. That's today's lesson. Sobering one. Thanks for watching. See you later.